Meantime, this is not a unique situation where Republicans, Democrats too, particularly Democratic backers of one Bernie Sanders, wonders what the deal is with him winning Wyoming caucuses over the weekend, but at best likely splitting the delegates there. That doesn't make sense, or does it? Democratic strategist Christy Setzer with us. You know, Christy, I was looking at this. Their lament is, look, we've won 6 of the last 7 contests. We, in state after state where we've won appreciably, we at best split the delegates. New Hampshire comes to mind. Wyoming comes to mind. And they're crying foul. Should they?
No, of course not. Look, you know, they need to have a better understanding of the system, which is not rigged, but it is complicated and it is a little quirky. And that's for a reason, which is that, you know, this happened, these reforms, after McGovern was nominated by the party and then lost in a landslide in the fall. So the reason why Democrats do it a little bit differently is to give a little bit more say to the party establishment so that we don't have a situation like Republicans might have in Donald Trump, which is to say someone who we expect will, you know, be unelectable in a general election.
Sounding, Chrissy, it's sounding like we don't want those dopey voters making a mistake. No. We'll intervene if we have to, if they look like they're screwing it up.
No, I hear what you're saying, right? But actually, keep in mind, this is in fact a party nomination, right? So if, you know, again, if you are Donald Trump, if you are Bernie Sanders.
And I'm critical of this with the Republicans too. Let the voters know they have no impact or their vote no meaning.
They certainly have. Okay, well, actually, so to that point, superdelegates have never actually tilted the nomination, right? They've always gone in the same direction as the voters, the person that they would have nominated in the fall as well.
All people know is 7 out of the 8 contests that Bernie Sanders has won by double digits. He has essentially split, or actually lost sometimes, delegates to Hillary Clinton. Superdelegates or no. You're smart enough, I'm savvy enough, having done this for a while, to know that's how the game is played. Average Americans come back and say, what?
Right. Well, there's a couple different reasons for that. One is that sort of not all states are created equal, right? So there's a certain amount of delegates that are more or less given, you know, the population of different states. And again, as I said, you know, there is going to be a certain amount of weight given to the sort of party establishment.
Why?
Superdelegate
Why should they have any weight at all?
Why? Because, listen, if you are Bernie Sanders, Bernie Sanders is not even a Democrat. He was an independent socialist who caucused with the Democrats, right? He has not spent the decades in and among the party establishment like Hillary Clinton has.
Well, he's running for your nomination. He's running for your nomination. He's a candidate who has done very, very well. So who are you or these? No, wait a minute. Believe me, I'm hardly an apologist for Bernie Sanders. But I mean, who are you or they to all of a sudden say, well, you know, because we have these trepidations and doubts, we don't think that your vote necessarily should translate into delegates awarded.
Well, look, the system is the system, and maybe Bernie Sanders should have done more in order to court the support of his own party establishment. Maybe he should have given more money to the DNC when he was running for his various offices. I don't know, right? But
I love you dearly, but listen to how you're sounding here. If only you had courted us a little more aggressively, Senator, you might not be in the pickle you're in. You foolishly decided to take your case to the voters.
Yeah, no, that's certainly not what we're saying. Again,
you're certainly implying it, kiddo.
I'm not in any way. I'm saying that the party has a vote as well. And, you know, and that is the system that we live in. We live in a 2-party system. If he wants to run as an independent, that is his right. If Donald Trump wants to run as an independent, that is also his right.
But when you run for a party's nomination, I think on the Republican side, I hear you, but on the Republican side of the Democratic side, and I have no horse in this race, trust me. Then you should have a safe assumption that roughly your vote will translate into the delegates you're awarded. Now, in the Republican Party, as we've seen in a couple of cases, not the case. And in your party, not the case. So what's to stop someone sitting at home listening to us now from saying, it's cooked, it's all a sham?
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope they don't feel that way. I mean, I think that, again, there does have to be some education about what the, you know, the rules of the nominating process are. And keep in mind also, this hasn't always worked in Hillary Clinton's favor. If you remember back in 2008, she took an initial early lead in superdelegates.
I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of that.
But then as Barack Obama started racking up wins.
Why have the superdelegates at all? They're insulting, archaic relics of the past in smoke-filled rooms, deciding the fate because voters are too stupid to know what's good for them. On the right or the left, you've got to find that wrong.
I don't find that wrong right now. Again, I think it's a product of the fact that we have a 2-party system.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens, Christy. Thank you very, very much.